Hello YouTube, how you guys doing today? So in today's video we're going to be talking about how to create your own builds in Warframe, as I stream every single day on Twitch, and I have absolutely found that there are so many new people that are joining this game day after day that they don't know this stuff, and it's important to know this stuff. So we're going to go over this, and those of you that already know this stuff, if you feel like there's anything that I left out that you think is important, in a very kind and polite way as to not scare the new people away, let us know in the comments what I possibly missed. I'm going over this, and I'm just trying to cover the basics here because I don't want to overload anybody and make it sound really complicated, because really it's not. I don't want to scare them off from building their own builds. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna introduce you guys to how builds work, and by doing that I first want to show you, I need you to understand what formas are. So you guys have to understand that when you are building something in Warframe, you have a capacity up here. The capacity applies to the number that's on the mod in the top right of the mod. So adaptation up here in the top right of it says 12. The equilibrium says 14. And basically what that means is if I put this adaptation on this build, I'm going to lose 12 capacity. So I only have so much capacity to put mods on here. But Neo, you're going to run out of capacity so fast. How would you fill this whole thing out? Excellent question. I'm glad you asked. So there is a thing like, at the top right of every mod, it says 12, and then it has a symbol. That symbol is the polarity. So basically what you're doing is you're matching the polarity. If you see I'm holding this mod and now this is lighting up green. If I drop this here, instead of it taking up 12, it cuts it in half, and now it's only going to take up 6. And you can see up here in the capacity. So same thing with equilibrium. If I put this over here, it minuses 14. But if I put equilibrium where, I gotta use another mod because I don't have any other dashes on here. If I, where's the V polarity? 12. Lightning dash, 12. If I put lightning dash and match the polarity, it's only gonna take up 6 capacity. So this is how you do this. Well, Neo, how do you set polarities on your builds? Fantastic question. I'm glad you asked. So this is how it works. You go down to the bottom here where it says actions. You click on polarize, and then it lets you choose a forma. And we're going to choose a regular forma right here. Before I get into everything else, the aura forma is for aura slots only, and the umbral forma is these formas are very limited in the game. If you ever get a hold of any of these, I absolutely would not just spend them on any little thing that you can. Hold on to them for a little while. Make sure that you've played the game long enough that you're definitely comfortable with the frame and you absolutely love it, and you're not going to play anything else for a while, because these don't come around very often, and your build might not even need one of these. But this is an umbral forma. It's meant for the umbral mods. Those of you that don't know what umbral mods are, you'll get there when you get to, I believe, the second Dream Quest or the War Within. One of those two. You'll wind up getting, you know, umbral mods. Anyway, that's not a spoiler. So we take this forma. Are you sure you want to install the forma? Yes. So then it shows me this. And if I click on this, I can just keep clicking on it until I get something that matches, let's say, the polarity that I want to use. So I can just keep clicking it, whatever. So, Neo, how do I know what polarity I want to use? Well, if you already have a build in mind, then what you're looking for is, like, Blind Rage is a 16. It takes up 16 capacity. If you're going to have a Blind Rage on your build, like if your build calls for that, then start with the V polarity that has, like, for your Blind Rage. You want to take the most expensive things, the most expensive capacity mods that you have, and you want to half those first. So that's basically how I recommend that you go about building. Now, to go with building even further, you guys understand polarities and how formatting works and all that stuff. So let's pick a weapon, right? Let's say we pick, I'm going to pick some just random weapon here that hopefully I don't have any forma in. So let's go with the Volcar Wraith. Okay, so I pick Volcar Wraith. I'm going to look at, let's go back to that. I'm going to look at 2 things in figuring out how do I build my Volcar Wraith. I'm going to look at critical chance, which is 20%, and I'm going to look at status chance, which is 25%. Most weapons do not have both of these over 20%. Some of them do, like this one right here. And in that case, this weapon could be built as a hybrid. But generally what you're looking for with weapons is you're looking to see, is the crit chance 20% or higher? If it is, then you build that weapon for crits. If the status chance is 20% or higher, then you build that weapon for status. If both of them are 20% or higher, then you build it for either crit or status, or make a hybrid, whatever you want to do. But most weapons do not have both 20% crit chance and over 20% status chance at the same time. So that's the first thing that you look at when you are trying to figure out what do you do with your build, what do you do with your weapon, and how do you build it. Crit chance, is it over 20? Status chance, is it over 20? That's the first thing. The second thing you guys are going to want to do is, or really the first thing you're actually going to want to put on this build are your damage mods. So you can either know what the damage mods are, or you can just type damage in here. So we have amalgam serration or even regular serration. That is the first thing that we're going to put on here. The next thing we're going to do after the damage mods, we're going to look for multi-shot mods. So that's going to double your damage. So we have split chamber here. I'm going to put split chamber on this thing. And that's basically what you're doing. Damage, multi-shot, and then after you do damage or multi-shot, then you could start building for crit or status or both if you want to do a hybrid. So you can come over here and you can start doing crit mods, or you can come over here and type in status, whatever it is. But this is the foundation for every build. As NC is saying in chat right now, it's damage, multi-shot, crit chance, crit damage. But then again, that's also for a crit weapon. But really, damage, multi-shot, those are the first two things that you're installing on your build. And to figure out what you do with the rest of it, is crit chance over 20, is status over 20. Another thing you guys want to be aware of is with weapons, with your capacity here. If you're going to run out of capacity, possibly, you go to actions, you grab a catalyst or like one of these things. So I'm going to click on this, install a Roken catalyst. Yes. Once I do that, my capacity goes from 30 to 60. It doubles the capacity. So that's really important that you guys do that. Now, when it comes to Warframes, we'll go back to Gauss. You don't have catalysts, you have reactors. So a reactor is for a Warframe, a catalyst is for weapons. And that's the only difference between the two of them. But both of them will double, or like take it from 30 capacity to 60, whether it's a Warframe or a weapon. Back before I forget, earlier when we talked about the formas and the polarizing stuff and these aura formas right here, every build for a Warframe only has one aura slot, and it is this one. It's this one right here. The top left slot is your aura slot. So what this actually does, the aura forma, is it modifies an aura slot on a Warframe to be compatible with any polarity. That means whether it's a dash polarity, whether it's a V polarity, whether it's a D polarity, dash, V, D, or whatever this one's called, Xeneric, if it's a Xeneric polarity, whatever it is, putting that forma in this slot, the aura slot forma, will make it so that it doesn't matter what, like down here, aura, this is a D polarity. If I had an aura forma slot in here, it doesn't matter if I throw this in there. It doesn't matter if I throw a V in there, or if I throw a dash in there, whatever it does, it's going to multiply it. Now, what happens when you, this is also important too to go over, so we're going to kind of wrap up with this. I'm going to take corrosive damage and I'm going to put it on, notice how much I have. I have, hold on, let me actually don't notice that. 60. You guys see that it says 60 there. Corrosive is worth 7. Watch what happens when I put it on an aura slot. It jumps up to 74. The aura slot is the only current slot that actually adds capacity. So you definitely want to make sure you are matching the polarity on the aura slot. That'll potentially save you a forma or two in the future when you're building. And one last thing, just one piece of advice, before you guys go crazy forming all your builds and stuff like that, it's actually more beneficial for you to pop a catalyst or a reactor on first before you bother with forming, because a catalyst and a reactor will not require you to have to, you know, re-level your Warframe or your weapon, but a forma will. A forma will reset your entire build, or not your build, but it'll reset like the progress, the master rank that you got out of it. You only get master rank out of something once, but you'll understand what I mean if you ever do it. Which you should. You should be putting formas on your builds if you need the space, if you need the capacity. All that being said, this basically wraps everything up. I'm not really sure if there's anything, I feel like there's one thing I forgot. If you know what it is, leave it in the comments down below. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. Hopefully you guys understand a lot better as to what you're doing with your formas, your reactors, your catalysts, and how to tell how to build a weapon. But all that being said, absolutely love your faces. Please stop by my Twitch channel. Come hang out with us. You guys can earn free Warframes, weapons, and mods. And I am live every single day on Twitch. If you guys like this video, leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. And if I don't see you guys in the next video, I will see you guys on my Twitch channel. Laters.